Now you join me for the second part of the adventure, which is to find Castle Law atop Culteuchar Hill. It's an old hill fort. Now, Ordnance Survey Archaeology Division assessment of 1965 describes it as a fort of two concentric walls and extensive outer defences with timber-laced ramparts. Arcam's Marginal Land Survey 1957 describes it as a super fort matched only by the White Caterhun as a type site for the Gallic wall forts of Angus, Perth and Aberdeen. Ooh. And it illustrates the Gallic fort builders' preference for an isolated eminence affording commanding views in all directions. Well, that sounds pretty exciting. When I saw this on satellite, you can actually still see the ramparts, which is something you can't always see when you go and find a hill fort. So I'm really looking forward to this one. Probably doesn't look like it on camera, but this is an incredibly steep uphill. I've already exhausted myself, and I've got more than double this to go before I even get close to that hill fort. So let's see if we make it. And we found this little well thing on our adventure here, so it's quite curious. Does it lift? Now, I don't know if that's just jammed shut, rusted shut, or I'm just incredibly weak. Probably all three. Could this be the hill fort up there? I bloody hope so, because I'm really, really tired now. Now, I think that's the fort down there by that pylon, just a little bit further on, because there's nothing actually up here. And here's the fort in its full glory. You can even see some of the old stonework underneath, just about there. And you can see all the ramparts going around, and you can easily see how this was a defensible hill fort. Word of warning, if you're approaching from this direction, there are a lot of hidden holes in this path, so just watch that you don't hurt yourself. And some kind-hearted pioneer has snipped this fence, making it a lot easier for me to get over. So let's see if I can manage this. Ah, it's not too bad. I was expecting to fall or trip. Now here's an exposed section of the rampart wall, and you really get a sense of the scale of it here, how enormous it is, and how formidable a fort this would have been in its heyday. So let's have a look at what the notes say. Now, this started as a timber-laced fort, burnt possibly during the Agricolan campaign. That's when the Romans tried to take Scotland in the AD 80s, culminating in a massive battle called Mons Graupius. The Romans won that, but unfortunately they were not able to capitalise on the victory, had to head south back into the empire and fight where they were more needed, which ended any hopes of conquering Scotland. In the Iron Age, the fort was extended upon, but this was an incomplete extension. So they built a second stone wall and a passageway that connected the old and new entrances. And this was also interrupted, possibly, by a Roman incursion that was not successful. Now, into the Pictish times, they added extensive bank and ditch fortifications and nuclear enclosures on the north and west. And lastly, in the medieval times, it was used as a stock enclosure, and there was evidence of a settlement to the north and south. There was also a watchtower where the modern cairn is, so we'll go up and we'll see if we've got any evidence of that. Well, we made it to the top of the hill. I'm shouting because it's very windy and I don't know if my microphone will pick it up over the wind damage. There's the cairn. You can certainly imagine there being a watchtower here. I was saying something about an eminence that can see all over the landscape, and this is certainly it. And the notes made mention of a sort of stone walkway that connected the old and new gates. Now, my strongest guess is that this is it. Well, that's me having done Castle Law on Culteuchar Hill. I do apologise for the awkward angle. I'm holding this tripod up. It's bloody useless. I'm going to get a new one if I do any more of these. Now I've got to give this a recommendation, haven't I? I'm going to give this one a silver recommendation because it is an adventure to find. It's not well signposted, this one. It's not as famous as, say, the White Caterhun or Dunstan and Hill Fort. You really have to kind of look for this one yourself and find a bit more about it. But when you look around it, it's as well preserved as any of those. I think it might even be a little bit better, actually. It is just a hill with stones, really. So you are using your imagination to build this hill fort in your mind, which is why probably I wouldn't give it a golden recommendation. Plus, it is a strenuous walk to get here, and you have to go through farms. That's never fun. But I do think this was a worthy adventure, and I'm quite happy to give it the silver. It's not especially famous compared to, say, the White Caterhun or what's the name of that fort? The Macbeth one, Dunstan and Hill. Sorry, I forgot them. Forgot there for a second.